Alright, I tried to record this video yesterday, but I didn't like how it turned out, so we're gonna try again today. In this video, I'm gonna be talking about collectibles and giving my opinions on them. The first collectible I'm gonna talk about is Funko. Now, I know a lot of people don't like Funko because of the style of them, but I didn't mind it. I got into Funko during COVID because I thought the price was worth what you were getting. Now the price has just gone up and up, and I feel like they're at the point where you're better off just getting an actual figure of whatever character you wanted instead of getting a Funko Pop of it. But I guess for some shows that don't have figures, getting a Funko Pop's really your only option if you want to buy merch of it. Another thing that also bothers me about Funko Pops is how many they produce. They underproduce the amount people want and overproduce these ones that no one wants or not a lot of people want, such as the Squid Game Pops. Just being one example. They used to print a good amount of quality, but now they print way too much, leading to you seeing them in dollar stores and Five Belows. And their exclusives don't feel exclusive anymore with how much they restock, which is probably why they reported a 2025 quarter to $41 million loss. But enough dogging on them, let's talk about the things I do like about them. One of the things I did like about them that's not really true anymore is the exclusivity of them. Back when I first started collecting, it felt like when you got one, there was more people wanting it than the supply. Now that's not necessarily true anymore. Also, the prices. Most of them you can kind of get on sale now for a fair price, which is cheaper than an actual like figure. And I think their sodas, which are discontinued now, were very cool. And I also think the pop posters they're doing now are sick, such as this Usopp one. Uncle also owns Launchfly, which a fair amount of people do collect. Even I got one, but I only got one because it was on sale for like 40. Normally they retail for about like 70 to 80, which I think is crazy. Yes, the quality is there, but it's a mini backpack, and there's only a few things you can hold, such as like a wallet, water bottle, and maybe one other thing if you're shopping. I do think collectibles like Loungefly apply more to girls than they do guys. And you see that in a lot of their designs too. Just like Funko, you see a lot of people with whole walls of these things. And I think most of those people either have lots of disposable income or just financially not smart at all. I also think some of the designs they do are really creative and other ones are really plain for the price point. And it's one of those companies where I feel like you're paying for the name because I feel like there's a lot of other mini backpack brands that you could find at like a Walmart. Now, speaking of female collectibles, let's talk about Labubus. Labubus have became really popular recently, and honestly, I don't see the appeal. I think they are really ugly. They're one of those collectibles that, again, just like Launchfly, really applies to girls. And I think a key difference between a guy collectible and a girl collectible is the amount they're willing to spend. Like just yesterday, I watched a video of people breaking into a store to steal Labubus, and that happens with other collectibles like Pokemon, I'm sure. But I just feel like the fast growth and the high price points are mainly because it's a female collectible. Not saying guys can't collect it. I definitely don't see it lasting long though. And if anything, I see them being in landfills in a couple of years because right now the supply can't meet the demand. And eventually when they do get the supply, if the trend's done, then where's all that gonna go? It's gonna go into a landfill. Just like with Funko. If I have to say one nice thing about them, I do like that most of them are keychains. It makes them easier to display. And they actually have practical use instead of just sitting on a shelf, which they can't even do because of the way they're designed. Now on to YouTubes. You probably heard of YouTubes. They made figures for YouTubers a lot back in the day. They still do occasionally now, but they're more focused on big IPs such as like Superman, DC, Halo. This is another one where like with like Funko where people complain about the style and the eyes being rounded. I personally don't mind. I think it's just one of the unique things about them. The quality is definitely better than Funko. However, the price is also higher and they're really only in stores like Box Lunch, FYE, and Hot Topic, as well as other mom and pop shops. So most of the time if you want one, you're gonna have to pay shipping. And when it's in a mom and pop shop, most likely the price is a little higher than 30. One thing I wish they would do better is when they announce a new product, they put it on their website and it doesn't ship out for like the next 6 months. I think when they started, that's fine, but I think now they're too big of a company to still have pre-orders for 6 months every time they release or announce something. I mean, they do other stuff that's not just the figures, such as plushies and like some night lights, and they even try to do candy at one point. Now, I do own a couple of U2s, and by a couple, I mean like three. One of them being a generic Naruto one that I got at FYE, And the other two being ones of popular YouTubers that I like having on a shelf to remind me of those people. The next collectible I want to talk about is Pokemon. Now, I never really got into Pokemon. Gambling on cards just never appealed to me. And I'm kind of glad I never did because it would suck trying to collect post-COVID with all those scalpers fighting at Targets and Costco's. And I find it funny too because a lot of those people reselling say stuff like, oh, I can't wait till new becomes vintage, and new never will become vintage. The whole reason the original Pokemon boxes got popular was because the supply didn't meet the demand and people had nostalgia for it. Now the supply meets the demand, and no kid's gonna have nostalgia for this in 20 years because they can't get their hands on it because of these scalpers. So I'm sure in 20 years someone's gonna buy an empty storage unit filled with Pokemon that's probably only gone up by like $200. I do enjoy other stuff from Pokemon, like anything with the characters. I just don't really collect the cards. And people that do collect the cards end up buying way too much, just like Funko fans and Loungefly fans sometimes. But a good chunk of that is probably stuff like energies and junk cards that have no value but you can't just throw out. These were popular collectibles in my opinions on them. This video is definitely not one of my proudest works, but I'd rather post, no matter if I think it's good or not, than to never even try. So once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.